The night was unusually quiet. So quiet that even my own breathing felt too loud. The lights in the house were off, but inside, memories were wide awake. Memories of love, loss, and a silence that never truly ended. I stood near the door, hands shaking, heart hardened by years of waiting. Nothing after this night would ever be the same. If you enjoy powerful stories filled with family emotions, deep secrets, and meaningful revenge, then this channel is for you. Here, stories are not just told, they are felt. Every part is designed to keep you connected until the very end. Subscribe and stay with us, because every story here carries a truth worth hearing. This house was once full of laughter. My mother's warm voice, my father's honest smile, my younger brother's endless questions. Everything felt safe. We believed that hard work and truth were enough to protect a family. We were wrong. My father had spoken against powerful people. People with money, influence, and no fear of consequences. Soon after, threats came quietly, then lies. And finally, one night changed everything forever. They called it an accident. The police closed the case quickly. Neighbors whispered and moved on. But my mother knew the truth. Her eyes told a story her lips never could. When she passed away months later, broken by grief, I understood something clearly. This was not fate. It was planned. That was the night I stopped being a child. After my mother's death, the house became empty, even when I was inside it. I divided my life into two parts, the one the world saw and the one where I searched for the truth. By day, I studied and worked. By night, I read old files, remembered conversations, and followed hidden trails. Slowly, I learned that my father had collected evidence, documents that could expose corruption. That evidence made him dangerous. Silencing him had been necessary for them. I didn't rush. Revenge rushed is revenge wasted. I entered their system quietly, through businesses, records, and people who made small mistakes. One mistake led to another. And soon, I had my first proof. It wasn't big enough to destroy them, but it was enough to begin. Truth doesn't stay buried forever. I didn't release everything at once. I let it breathe slowly. I watched how fear changed people when they realized the past was returning. One of them recognized me, not by name, but by memory. I saw it in his eyes. The same fear my mother once carried. That moment confirmed everything. I didn't attack them directly. Instead, I showed their allies the truth. When trust breaks inside a powerful circle, collapse begins silently. This was no longer just my family's story. It was a system built on lies. Power only exists while people believe in it. Once doubt appears, even the strongest walls shake. Projects were delayed. Investors started asking questions. Old cases reopened. Still, I remained invisible. I was just a source. The more they searched for me, the more mistakes they made. Fear visited me for the first time. Not because I was losing, but because I was winning. And winning has a cost. But I didn't stop, because behind me were graves and memories. Ahead of me was truth. The day finally came when the story could no longer be hidden. Documents became public. Questions flooded the media. Answers disappeared. For the first time, I spoke, not with anger, but with calm strength. I told my story without shouting, and people listened. They tried to silence me again, but it was too late. The truth had already reached thousands. What was buried for years was now impossible to erase. That day, I learned something important. Revenge is not always about destruction. Sometimes it is about restoration. Everything ended quietly. The powerful names became history. My family did not return, but their truth survived. I stood at the door of the same house once again. This time, the silence felt peaceful, not empty. I didn't look back. Some stories are meant to end without noise. Justice does not always scream. Sometimes it simply stands. This was my revenge, and this was my peace.